beauties, it's Brittany and welcome back to my channel today. Today I wanted to talk about the new Urban Decay Stay Naked line. This line was sent to me by Urban Decay and today I'm going to be trying the foundation, the concealer, and the foundation powder. So I'm going to be applying them onto my skin, wearing them throughout the day, checking in with you, letting you know my thoughts. I am currently wearing the products and I did something a little sneaky, so tell me if you can see a difference between this side of my face and this side of my face in the comments down below before you get any further. So if you would like to see how I apply these products today and how they look on the skin with first application, then just keep on watching. Then keep on watching. Okay, so the description of this foundation says, find your naked truth with Stay Naked Weightless Liquid Foundation, our vegan blendable medium coverage liquid foundation with real skin matte finish that lasts up to 24 hours. We designed this lineup of 50 shades with 9 shade intensities, 3 master tones, 7 undertones to dial in your precise color match. Our waterproof long wear foundation feels like wearing nothing thanks to the breathable, flexible formula that moves with you all day, all night, up to 24 hours. It not only feels better, it even looks better with its Stay True color, which minimizes the appearance of pores so you always look like you. Cruelty free. Let's test it out. Here is what the packaging looks like. Beautiful. This is plastic and then this is like a gold component. It's not metal. It does pick up a lot of fingerprints. I've actually been using the top of this to pump off the foundation onto as kind of like a makeshift palette. I just watched Tati's video launching her second product and I'm very excited. I am definitely going to order tomorrow when it is released. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 pumps on the back of here. I have not tried this foundation yet. I have tried the concealer once before, but we will be playing with that as well today. It's quite liquidy in consistency. It says that it has full coverage, it's long wearing, it's waterproof. So let's get some on. Oh shoot, I don't have primer. Do I skip primer? Let's skip primer. This is how I apply foundation. I dot it all over the skin first and then I go in with my brush and then I go in with a sponge once I see kind of what the formula is like. I did take 2 pumps and I have quite a bit of the foundation left. I have the shade 10NN. Doesn't really seem to have a fragrance to it. I used this brush last with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Airbrush Foundation, and even though I cleaned my brush with a spot cleaner, it still has a lot of the fragrance left on it. It is a potent foundation. That other one, not this one. So this is generally how I go with a first coat of foundation. I will use my Artiste number 7 brush, my oval 7, and blend my foundation all over the skin, kind of assess where I need more coverage, and then maybe go in with a sponge if things are looking a little bit too dry or anything like that. I have pretty dry skin for the most part, becoming a little bit more normal as I get a little older. I always like to put color on my lips because I feel like I look so washed out when there's nothing on them. Okay, so this is 1 coat of the Stay Naked foundation. Let's go in with a second with the sponge. I don't feel like that offered me, no it did. It offered a little bit more coverage, but I don't like how thick it's kind of looking up close. So at this point I have used both pumps. Okay, I've turned down my light significantly so that you can see what it looks like kind of in the dark-ish. Let me turn it up just a slightly bit more. Okay, I've turned it up just a little bit more so that you can actually see my skin, but it's not over-exaggerated with the light so that you can actually see texture and pores and blemishes. I have blemishes on my cheek area, or my chin area here, and then my cheek area here. I have some redness down on my chin that's still kind of showing. Well, let's go in with the concealer now. This is the Stay Naked Concealer in the shade 10NN, so matching the foundation. I'm going to try it under the eyes first and see how I feel about that. Okay, this definitely has a scent. Yeah, the concealer has a stronger fragrance than the foundation. Okay, a little dry for me personally under the eyes. I like something a bit more hydrating, but definitely did cover. This is the side with the concealer. This one has no concealer. You can definitely see a lot less darkness under this eye. Actually, I'm going to use the concealer I normally would on this side just so we can kind of get a comparison. It might be helpful. My dogs are in here with me today, so if you hear growling or playing, they're hanging out with us. This is Jeffree Star in shade C7. Oh, Bean. And then C4. Yeah, I definitely like the Jeffree Star side. Jeffree Star side. That sounded weird. It's not as dry. I'm really trying to do my best to actually show you what things look like in real life versus what it looks like with studio lighting and ring lighting, because that's where you're going to be wearing it in your life, and that's where I wear my makeup out, is in the real world. So don't mind the nail polish. I hurt my finger trying to remove gel polish myself. So okay, the texture. So this is the Jeffree Star side, and this is the Urban Decay side. You can see both sides still shows my bags under my eyes, but I'm trying to see if I can get the camera to pick up the texture. I'm not going to be able to tell until I'm in editing, so this might not even make it into the video. Hopefully it does. Hopefully you can see the texture I'm talking about. Just like little itty bitty dots under the eyes, and I feel like it's definitely exaggerated with the Urban Decay concealer. Okay, let's try this on blemishes. I've actually been using a pot concealer for blemishes, so we'll see how I end up liking this today. Probably not going to, but we're gonna try it because it says it can cover everything. Oh, I didn't read you the little blurb about the concealer. I'll do that in a second. It's a little too light to cover blemishes. It's kind of just highlighting the area, which is certainly not what I want. So when you look up the concealer, it says, meet Stay Naked Correcting Concealer, our vegan real skin matte concealer with 25% more pigment and full coverage that lasts up to 24 hours. With an expanded range of 25 shades, there's enough coverage to go around. Our Stay Naked concealer lineup features 9 shade intensities, 3 master tones, and 5 undertones. Use this flexible real skin matte finish concealer for just about anything, from covering imperfections. So what do they mean imperfections? Under the eyes, blemishes, I guess everything. They're just kind of putting it in that category. To highlighting cheekbones. So covering imperfections to highlighting cheekbones. The patented wave tip applicator makes it easy to get the right level of coverage. Use the flat side for precision, light application, or lean into the curve for smooth glide on application and a heavier dose of product. So you can really actually see the wave to the applicator. Okay, I think I'm going to use this concealer on this side of my face, and then I'll use the one I have been using on the other side. Don't worry, I have plenty of scarring to cover up. And the concealer I've been using is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. If you've been watching my channel lately, you know I've been loving this. It's slightly too dark for me, but I make it work, and I'll show you how I make it work in a second. Wow, it's looking even darker today because this foundation is so light. I'm a little scared, but I'm gonna keep going. So in order to make it match, I put a little bit more foundation. Go with my beauty blender. So I am getting the additional coverage of the foundation. I will give it that, because I do have to do this in order to match the concealer to my face. Okay, you tell me which side you think has more coverage for my scarring. This concealer is too dark, keep that in mind, but I think once I have like my bronzer and everything on, you won't be able to tell. You can see it's slightly dark still, but that's where my contour goes, so it won't be a problem. And then this side I feel like looks a little thicker because I do have 2 layers of foundation on this side. Keep that in mind as well. And the Stay Naked concealer under the eyes and the Stay Naked concealer for my blemishes. So let's just keep up with the trend of doing all of the Stay Naked products on this side and some of the Stay Naked products on the other side, just so that we can kind of test things out better. I'm going to use the powder. This is the Stay Naked, the Fix 26 hour wear powder foundation. So this is a powder foundation. You could just use this on its own. It has charcoal infused sponge inside. I thought the powder was charcoal infused, which wouldn't make much sense because charcoal can be pretty drying on the skin, but this is the charcoal infused sponge that they're talking about. It has the powder, a mirror. Editing Brittany jumping on here because my camera cut off yet again, but I do have a clip of me applying the Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation powder, and I wanted to give you a little rundown of the description. So it says, everything you love about Stay Naked now in a powder. Meet Stay Naked Fixed Powder Foundation, 24 shades of vegan longwear foundation with medium buildable coverage and a real skin matte finish that lasts up to 16 hours. Designed with 9 shade intensities in mind, it's the easiest way to get your fix of staying naked. This breathable and lightweight powder is ultra blendable and never cakey. Knock out T-zone oil, use it for all over coverage, or set your concealer. It does not transfer, plus it's water and sweat resistant, so go ahead, hit it and quit it. So for this clip, I applied the powder on one section of my face with concealer underneath. So I went in with my concealer for scarring, and I went in with under eye concealer, and on the right side of my face I used the powder as an actual powder foundation, which is not typically what I do, but I did do that today just to see what it kind of looked like and see if it is something that I want to do day to day. And then on the left side of my face, I did my typical routine. So I did my liquid foundation, I used the Urban Decay Stay Naked, and then I used my under eye concealer as well as my face concealer. And then on top of all of that, I did set the face with the Urban Decay Stay Naked powder. I actually found that each side looked pretty identical to each other, even though on the left side I had a liquid foundation on. So I found that very interesting. I think I'm definitely going to experiment more with this powder when it comes to everyday wear, because it did make my routine a lot quicker. I used liquid products underneath it to make sure it concealed everything, and then just quickly put the powder all over the skin, and I actually really liked the results. I do have pretty dry skin on a day-to-day basis, and this did exaggerate my dryness and texture, so I would definitely need to use this on days when I know I've exfoliated the night before and my skin is in a place that can handle a powder. So that's all on the powder. Let's go ahead and cut to the rest of the clips. This is what the foundation looks like with just maybe like an hour of wear. I put the products on and then I went in with my blush and bronzer, and I'm actually using today the Conspiracy palette on my eyes, Tati glitter on my eyes, and then I have the Conspiracy palette as my blush and my highlight, and I'm really liking the way things look. So after analyzing my skin with this like first kind of hour and a half of wear, I definitely like one side over the other, and it is the side that I have just the foundation on today. This is the Stay Naked 24-hour foundation in the shade 10 and N. All of the products will be listed in the information bar below as per usual. This is a full coverage foundation. I really like the way that it's made my skin look. It's made it look very poreless and covered. I do like this side over this side because if you just watch those clips, you saw I used the Stay Naked concealer on this side. Not a huge fan of this. I've been very, very picky with my concealers lately, and I have like 2 things that's really working for me, and it's what I did on this side of my face. I have the Jeffree Star concealer and then the NARS Soft Matte Complete on my skin. On this side that I have the Stay Naked under the eyes and covering the blemishes, I just feel like it looks a little bit heavy. I also have 2 layers of the foundation on this side and a layer of the powder foundation. So overall, this side just looks a little dry to me, a little too thick, but I'm very picky when it comes to how thick my foundation looks. So right off the bat for me, I would say 1 layer of this is sufficient, and using the concealers I know that I love on my skin is going to be what works well for me. The concealer, it has a really interesting applicator, which I briefly discussed when we first opened it up. I don't feel like it gave me enough hydration under the eyes. I need a concealer under the eyes that's going to be brightening, concealing, but also a little bit more hydrating, and this is just not doing that for me. I only put a little bit on the inner corner and then the outer corner, and I just don't feel like I like this eye as much as I like this eye. And for spot concealing blemishes, I don't think I can ever go back to a doe foot applicator for blemishes. I am really thinking I'm just going to stick with my pot concealers, thicker concealers that don't dry out the blemish, because I have a active blemish right here, and putting this on just made it look a little dry. And then as for the powder, I don't feel like it was too much underneath the eye area, and I do feel like it gave me a little extra coverage on the cheek area where I needed it, since the concealer didn't give me everything that I was looking for in terms of coverage. I'm not typically just a powder foundation girl, so I didn't just do that today, but if I have some time between editing this video, I will insert a clip of maybe just the powder foundation so that you can see what it looks like on the skin. I personally use my powders on top of a liquid foundation. I'm never generally wearing it on its own just as a powder foundation. It's just not my style, my preferred makeup application, and I do feel like this gave me a little bit of extra coverage on top of my liquid foundation, and I don't feel like it's too heavy or too powdery, but I also went very light-handed. And I did use this little guy, the charcoal sponge, in kind of a sweeping down motion to give me additional coverage. So I've brought you in nice and close, and I have my lights turned down pretty low enough so that you can actually see what my skin looks like, but not so low that you can't actually see me. I think this gives you an accurate representation of what everything looks like on my skin. I am not seeing a ton of settling in my forehead area, which I appreciate because I have lines there and foundations tend to immediately settle, so I'm happy with the way that it looks there. And then under the eyes, this side is a little bit dry for me personally, but everything else, it looks really great coverage wise. It's definitely not something I'm taking off immediately. I'm gonna wear it throughout the day. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin, so I'm happy with that. And yeah, this is an hour in. I wanted to jump on here because I actually wore the foundation again today. I did wear this foundation to work today, and it is currently 5:30 almost, and I put it on around 11:20 this morning. So also keeping in mind I'm an esthetician and I work on clients where there's steam involved, so my skin does get to really test out products when I'm wearing them. So this is after my shift. I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like on skin that's been not so kind of done up and just been worn to work today. Well, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you let me know in the comments down below, and by thumbsing this video up, it really helps me decide what kind of content I put out for you guys. When you view the content, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below. You can also hit that subscribe button if you are not already subscribed, and the notification bell so that you are notified when I have new uploads to my channel, which generally happens on Mondays and Thursdays. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you then. Bye!